Hello everybody and welcome to Saturday night at the Online Darts Live League. We have 6 players already qualified for Champions Week in a couple of weeks' time, and we are about to find out over the next few hours another 3 players that will join them. We have seen a lot of great action over the last 4 days, but Saturday night is the night where all the checks are cashed and your invitations will be accepted to Champions Week. But only 3 players can go forward, and only one person can grab the £2,000 bonus this evening. But before we get on to our first match of the night, let's have a little look to see what happened on Monday and Tuesday in Group A. As you can see, Martin Adams came through that group on 14 points. 2 days of action saw him get 7 wins with 3 losses. And he was rather fortunate in the end to come through that group, because as you can see, he only did it in leg difference. And if Robert Owen had won his last game of that group against Diogo Portela, it was Robert Owen who would have got through Group A. But as it stands, Robert Owen came through anyway. He played in Group B over the last couple of days. But before we got to that one, in Group C, we had a very similar format with 2 days of action and 5 games per player per day. Darryl Pilgrim, Mike Warburton and Stephen Burton could not be separated when it came to points, but this one also went to the last game of the group, where Stephen Burton won that last game by 4 legs to 1, which got him to 14 points, but he couldn't win by 4 legs to 0, and the 1 leg that was won in that match by Mike Warburton has got him through to tonight's finals. So, very fine margins in both of those groups. As far as the last couple of nights are concerned, Paul Hogan was brilliant on Thursday night with 8 points out of 8. And he managed to get a couple more wins last night as well. So he topped Group B. Robert Owen, after that heartache on Wednesday with Group A, managed to get through pretty comfortably in the end. But he needed to defeat Scott Williams in his final match to get here. And Gary Robson was sensational on Friday night, winning 4 games from 4 to make his way to Saturday night once again. Brilliant stuff, as we will have darts over the next 3 hours. Make yourself comfortable, enjoy it, and yes, it's Saturday night, and it's tungsten time. There's your fixtures. Martin Adams against Robert Owen will start us off, and then we will see in Group 2, Paul Hogan against Darryl Pilgrim. The other fixtures will complete Group 1 and 2, and then after that, it will be semi-finals and final, and then whoever loses in the semi-finals will not make Champions Week. But let's get started. Martin Adams against Robert Owen. They were the 2 that were jostling for the top position in Group A, and they will do battle once again in the finals at the start of tonight's action. Robert Owen was saying a little bit earlier in the week that he brought 5 different dart shirts with him this week. 5 different colours. He was hoping he would get to use all 5. He was right. All games are best of 7 legs, as per the format throughout the week. But Martin Adams has had the last couple of days off, whereas Robert Owen had to fight through Group B just to get here. Both guys know how to win on a Saturday night. They've done it before in 2021. And this is their first chance to win on a Saturday night in 2022. First mission, get 2 points in Group 1. And then Adams will play his second match in Match 3 against Mike Warburton. And Owen will have to wait until Match 5 for his second match against the same guy.
Game on.
So here we go then. Group 1 is Adams, Owen and Warburton. Group 2 is Hogan, Pilgrim and Robson. So let's have a little look at what the individual players have done this week. Adams has played 10 games, has won 7 of them for a very good win percentage of 70%. His highest average of the week was a losing average against Kevin Painter on Wednesday. In fact, it wasn't one of. It was the best game of the week. A rather astonishing standard.
85.
But the good thing for Martin is that he has a running average of 91.45. In fact, only one player in the finals tonight has got a better running average than that. And that is someone who is in the other
60.
group. Steady doubles, just under 38% for the week. And a high out of 121, which I'm pretty sure he may eclipse this evening.
140.
When you look at this group of Adams, Owen and Warburton, you think this is a particularly brutal group. It consists
83.
of 3 of the top 4 from Group A from Tuesday and Wednesday. And the person who was 3rd in Group A after Wednesday is in the other group.
136.
Very good start here from Martin. He has the darts. And that's what you want to do when you have the darts. You want to have a really good, solid scoring performance at the beginning to show your opponent that you're on form.
40.
Double 10 for the first leg of the night.
30.
Chance for Owen.
Robert, you require 78.
And that leaves 66. That leaves 50.
Game shot in the
He's
first
been
leg.
so good on that
Robert
bullseye
Owen.
this week. He's had 261 checkouts at different points this week. And he really has been very good indeed.
Second leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
Apologies, I think that instant replay may have been from last night. But, same result for Robert Owen. It is a leg win.
81.
And it's a break of throw as well. Not what you want on a Saturday night where the format is particularly cutthroat.
140.
Ordinarily, when there's 10 games in an evening session, you will play 4 times on a Thursday and Friday.
100.
But on a Saturday night, you're only guaranteed 2 matches. You will get another 2 if you finish in the top 2 spaces in your group. If you finish 3rd, 2 games and you're done. And you will walk away with £350.
83.
As for Owen's week, he's played 18 games. He's won 12. Win percentage just under 67%, which is really, really consistent. Best average of the week in an individual match, 100.68. And his running average is just a tiny bit under 89.
180.
First maximum of the night goes to the ex-England captain, who is eyeing another Lakeside performance 6 weeks
100.
today.
Martin
He will open the
required
tournament
98.
against Jared Cole. Only 6 weeks away. Double 19.
Game
Rather
shot in the
menacing
second
look on his
leg.
face.
Martin Adams.
And as soon as he was broken, I think he had a mission, and that was to break straight back. And he's done so in 4 visits.
Third leg, it's Martin to throw first. Game on.
Just goes to show all is not lost. If you do lose your throw at the very beginning of the match, just have to strike back really quickly in this short format.
28.
Highest finish of the week does belong to Robert Owen. He's got 2 161s that I mentioned a little bit earlier after that first leg bullseye checkout. I've seen some other really good ones this week. A 158 from Kevin Painter, which was a real highlight. We've had 160s from Warburton, from Hogan. You get the feeling that Martin Adams
60.
will find something rather big tonight. I don't need to mention to all of our darts fans tuning in on Sporty Stuff TV tonight just how good he was at the finishing during the World
100.
Seniors a few weeks ago. particularly in that game with Richie Howson. A game that I don't think I will ever forget.
'84.
When Champions Week does come, we have already got 5 English players in Champions Week and 1 Frenchman. Week 1 saw Josh Payne win. He got the £2,000 bonus.
100.
Beating out Chaz Barstow in the final. Andy Jenkins got the 3rd spot. And a week ago, it was Mike Gillett's turn to cash the big cheque, as he beat Scott Baker from the West Midlands.
97.
And Thibaut Tricol of France managed to snag the 3rd spot, so he will return. We do have a lot of English players tonight.
140.
And 2 Welsh players too. Warburton and Owen, both in Group 1. And the rest of the players are English.
95. Robert, you require 61.
25 for double 18 for a 3rd consecutive break.
Game shot on the 3rd leg.
That's what we're
Robert
getting.
Owen.
Not just breaks of throw in this match, but we're getting really high standard legs as well. 15, 11, 14.
4th leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
Can anybody hold their throw here? It might well come in this leg, as Robert starts with a maximum, asking a very stiff question of Wolfie now.
$60.
We haven't had a 9-darter this week. In fact, we haven't had one this year yet. We're not going to get one now, but we have had 2 players go 7 deep into the 9. One of those was Diogo Portela in a game that I've already mentioned, where he beat Robert Owen in the final game of Group A. Best leg of the week. A 10-darter to beat Owen and stop him from winning Group A. As soon as he starts hitting that dart in the bottom portion of that 60, Martin's got issues. And it could well be another 10-darter here. Spectacular scoring. And Owen is finding something special. I fancied Adams to really put an onslaught together when he found that 11-darter in leg 2. But since then, Owen has been magical. Very good. Second 11-darter of this match. And it's 3-1 to the Welshman, doing stupendous stuff and giving himself every chance of coming through this group with this performance so far.
5th leg, it's Martin to throw first. Game on.
The job isn't done though. If we can't separate the players on points in the group, we will look to leg difference. And if you can get a 4-1 victory against Adams here, this is a big statement. And not just a big problem
60.
for Martin, but maybe a big problem for Warburton as well.
$140.
Martin Adams was the favourite to win the #1 spot tonight. Robert Owen, who has played every day this week, was 3rd favourite.
180.
Now that he's in the finals, Robert Owen had to miss a qualifier for the UK Open today.
59.
But he has assured me that no matter what happens tonight, he's going to a qualifier tomorrow. How he would love to go to that qualifier, get to the UK Open off the back of winning week 3.
135.
Adams scoring well again. If this is going to be the standard for the night, you're going to have a good night's viewing.
118.
Not enough to get to a finish.
Martin, you
So
require
Adams doesn't have to get too
126.
frisky here. Might fancy a pop of double six, though. That's exactly what he's got left.
120.
He's left himself on the ashdown. Double three. It's not the easiest double when your darts land the way that Martin's do.
180.
Well, Owen
Martin, you
has
require
thrown a dead
6.
cat 180 to try and put Martin off, but I don't think it's going to work. Unless he misses double one.
No score.
Could be for the match now. Hugely impressive game.
Robert, you require
I haven't mentioned the
4.
averages for a reason. They're mightily impressive. Could be a personal best for Owen if he hits double one.
Game,
And he has.
shot, and the match.
Sensational
Robert
game.
Owen.
Adams played really well, but ultimately Robert Owen was just too good on this occasion. 106.59. I'll have to check back on all of the games that he had in 2021, but I have a feeling that would be a personal best. 100 average for Adams. It's not the first time he's lost with a 3-figure average. Unfortunately for him, he will have to come back to try and get a win against Mike Warburton in match 3, and if he doesn't get it, Wolfie will be out. We'll take a short break now, and then we're going to go over to group number 2. And when we do come back, it's going to be Paul Hogan against Darryl Pilgrim to see how that group begins. rather incredible start. I think you would agree in that first match from Robert Owen, who I can now confirm has set himself a live league personal best average in a match. What a time to do it against the favourite for tonight's first position. Adam's in trouble in Group 1, but now in Group 2, it's up to Paul Hogan and Darryl Pilgrim to start on the same footing. Hogan, who won Group B, is now up against the man who won Group C. By virtue of winning those groups, they get put into Group 2. And with those guys,
first leg, it's
they have Gary Robson, who will start his campaign in match number 4 against this guy. Really solid over the last couple of nights. Won all 4 games on Thursday night in Group B. Really scrappy performances, just getting the best of what he had at the time. Wasn't spectacular. But yesterday, 42. He was in a little bit of bother in the first couple of games, where he got caught by multiple players in his quest to get through Group B. But at that point, he put his foot down,
123.
Bagged a couple of wins, and ended up winning the group. So Hogan's played 8 games this week, won 6.
96.
And this entire week, he's got the highest win percentage of 75%. But on the flip side of that, he has the lowest personal best average in an individual game.
180.
But he does start this match in the first leg with his first maximum of the night.
59.
And he does have the darts in this game.
All you require, 58.
In his next game, he does not. He's got the 18 he now needs for tops.
38.
He'll come back for double 10. With Pilgrim still trying to find a footing here.
58.
Just a little bit scrappy at the start here for Darryl. He'll have to find
20.
something in the next leg. Double 5.
Game shot.
Yeah, nice find.
Leg.
Just gets
Paul
rid of that
Hogan.
leg in good time. The last thing he wants to do is give a free shot to Darryl Pilgrim at the end to try and steal that leg away.
Second leg, it's Darryl to throw first.
So Darryl's week. Pretty good and pretty typical of what we've seen from him before.
134.
When he made his debut last year, he played 10 games and won 7 for a win percentage of 70%. It wasn't enough to get him through a group, but this time it was.
100.
Exactly the same record this week. 10 games, 7 wins. But I believe he's played a little bit better this time. He's got the best running average for the week of any player.
59.
91.55. And he's also, before that first game of the night, had the best winning average in a game.
81.
Doubles have been decent as well, 37.5%. And for the live league, I would say that's where you really should be if you're going to do some damage to your opponents.
58.
But what he must do is not give Paul Hogan room to sprint here, because he's a great front runner.
100.
In the next leg, I will announce who's playing next week. I'm rather excited about it, because next week's field is stacked.
98.
He's in for another one.
180.
And it leaves tops. They're the times when you want to hit a 180. And he's going to get a look at tops for a 2-0 lead as well.
60.
Those 180s change matches.
40. Game
This
shot
is a
the
great
second
performance
leg.
from Hogan
Paul
so far. He must be having the same sort of breakfast cereal as Robert Owen, because the average is not that different. Leg 3 coming up.
Third leg, it's Paul to throw first.
In fact, it's just a little bit better.
76.
I don't like saying what their averages are in case I put some sort of jinx on them. But let's get into it next week.
81.
It's going to be so good. I feel like I need a drum roll. First person, well, he doesn't need any introduction. The World Seniors Darts Champion, Robert Thornton.
140.
My advice to him is bring the trophy. Everybody wants to see it. He's going to be up against Colin Osborne. He had a 9-darter here last year and many
97.
very good performances. Then you got Chris Gilliland of Northern Ireland. Great player. He's had success here. Matthew Dennant, the scholar, is here. Rob Collins, who always seems to make
55.
the finals on Saturday night. He's in week 4. And the last person in Group A next week, the Lancashire Rose, Lisa Ashton.
58.
If that's not tantalising enough, in Group B you will get Jamie Kelling. You'll get Josh Richardson and Lee Evans, who's been mixing it up with people on the Pro
41.
Tour the last few weeks and getting some very good results. Group C, Jamie Durrant, Kurt Parry of Wales, and Jim McEwen, who's also been getting some very good results the last 6 months.
58.
That is very, very enticing for next week. And that will be the last qualifying week for the Phase 1 Champions Week.
59.
I was told I had to wait until Saturday night to announce that. I hope it was worth it. It felt like it was worth it.
60. Paul, you require 130.
For a 3-0 lead. Not on this occasion. Unfortunately, Darryl hasn't turned up tonight so far.
42. Darryl, you require
His average is a good 20
147.
points less than that of Hogan. This would fix things. Double 18.
Game shot on the third leg.
I'm
Darryl
speechless.
Pilgrim.
He's hit nothing until that. And I mean nothing. His average before that shot was 72. And that's come out of the
Fourth
clear
leg, it's
blue
Darryl
sky
to throw first.
to
Game
get
on.
himself back in the match. Now all of a sudden he's hitting everything.
140.
That's the beautiful thing about the game of darts. You just need one tiny little catalyst and things start to click again. Just when Hogan thinks, I'm going to be 3-0 up, I'm the better player in this
60.
match. Pilgrim goes and finds that one. That 147, which is his biggest finish of the week by 30 points.
100.
Just when he needed it. Prize structure for this evening for the people who do not make the semi-finals and finish
45.
third in their respective groups. £350 for making it to the finals on Saturday night. If you lose in the third and fourth place playoff, you will walk away with £500.
140.
If you get third spot, you will also get a spot in Champions Week and get £750.
140.
But if you make the final,
Darryl, you require
you've got a chance at the
£121.
£2,000. But if you don't get the number 1 spot, it is what they call a bag of sand. Double 18 again.
85.
Yeah, £1,000 for second place. But what they all want are places in Champions Week because there's £6,000 up for grabs
140.
that week.
Darryl, you require 36.
Plenty of action on double 18 in this match.
Game
And it
shot
has
on the
now got
fourth
Darryl
leg.
Pilgrim
Darryl
back to
Pilgrim.
2-2. A somewhat befuddling game so far because you think that Hogan's dominating it, but the moment he takes his foot off the pedal, just a little bit, Pilgrim comes back into it.
Fifth leg, it's Paul to throw first.
The Hogan average after 2 legs was 107. That's come down to 93. Pilgrim's a leg and a bit ago
85.
was 72. Now it's 86. So they're starting to even out.
$140.
That's for the people already waiting in Champions Week. I've mentioned Josh Payne, who won in week 1. Already had a tweet this evening from Mike Gillett, who won 7 days
85.
ago. Hope you're well, Mike. Well done on last week. Someone's going to add their name to the honour roll of 2022.
48.
And they're two players, Josh and Mike, who've not won on a Saturday night before. Of the players that we've got here tonight,
58.
Adams has won on a Saturday night. Robert Owen has. But nobody else has. Four players who have not bagged a
79.
win on a finals night. The only person not to have played
137.
on a Saturday night before is Darryl Pilgrim. Adams, Owen, Warburton, Hogan, Robson. They've all played on a Saturday night before. This is a new experience for Darryl. It's no wonder he was probably a little bit nervous coming into it.
136.
Good switch.
80.
Handily placed.
Darryl, you require 94.
However, Darryl has a great opportunity here to get another break throw. It's 19 for the bull. Double six.
Game shot.
Game
the
changer
fiddler.
right there,
Darryl
because that's a
Pilgrim.
15 dart break. He's turned this one around after being 2-0 down, possibly on the cusp of going 3-0 down. That 147 checkout,
Sixth leg, it's Darryl
and
to
consequently
throw
that
first.
94 has changed things into his favour. Paul Hogan looks dizzy.
121.
I'll tell you what Darryl's thinking right now.
100.
Just bang in a 12 darter, job done. Because if I had a 12 from here, Hogan can't beat me. If you start a leg and you find a 12,
96.
you force your opponent to hit a 9 darter. And we know that Paul's not going to do that. That's how elite players think.
60.
That's how very good players like Pilgrim are starting to think. This is brilliant.
140.
Hasn't got a 180 in this match, but he has got 7 140 plus scores.
60. Darryl, you require 144.
Well, the 147 was taken. 144 is actually a little bit easier. And he almost got it as well.
128.
Said he might fancy a 12 to get the job done. He's been given the luxury of an extra visit.
60.
5 visits enough.
Darryl, you require 16.
And his average has climbed in the last 4 legs by 20 points.
No
But
score.
that busts it. No harm done. All you have to do is look at Darryl's face as if to see there's no stress with Hogan back on 221.
60.
Cutting a very frustrated figure
Darryl, you
is the
require
man
16.
from Basingstoke as Pilgrim comes back for double 8. Double 4 now.
8.
He's had 5 match darts.
Paul, you require
This will be some way to
161.
finish leg number 6.
$81.
I wouldn't miss it this time, Darryl. You've already had 5 match
Darryl, you
darts.
require 8.
Don't give Hogan a shot at 80.
Game, shot,
And he does the right
and
thing.
match.
So
Darryl
after being
Pilgrim.
2-0 down in this match, he found a game-changing shot. And then the 94 shot on the double six gave him the breathing space of trying to serve it out in 6 legs instead of having to go to the last leg. So 87 in the end. Well, his average has come up by a good 15 points in total, but it did come down by 5 points because of those missed darts for the match. But ultimately, he did get the job done with that 147 checkout, the biggest of the match, and 40% on the checkout for them both. So, Paul Hogan has some reparation work to do. And speaking of reparation work, let's have a little look at Martin Adams, who must win his next game against Mike Warburton, or he will be out very early. That's coming up after this. Welcome back to the Online Darts Live League. I am Paul the Asset Nicholson, and we're going back to Group 1 now. And Martin Adams knows that if he's going to come through this group, this is a must-win. If he loses, he is out, and Warburton and Owen will fight it off for the number 1 spot in match number 5. So, what will match number 3 bring? Adams came into tonight full of beans, thinking that maybe his name would be on the cheque for £2,000 at the end of the night. That will not be the case if he loses to this man from North Wales, who has played for the last 4 days in 2 different groups to get to this point. But the 65-year-old from Deeping St James in Cambridgeshire knows that his destiny in this week is resting in his own hands. He needs a big win.
Mike to throw first. Game on.
It could well be the case that if Adams wins a tight game here, he could still be eliminated because of the next result in this group between Warburton and Robert Owen.
60.
Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. As for Warburton, in Group A, started fairly slowly. Managed to play a little bit better on Wednesday than he did on Tuesday. But overall was 4th, which meant he had to go into Group C on Thursday and Friday morning. As a consequence, he came through that one 2nd.
140.
And the big story from his Group C was that he went into his very final match against Stephen Burton needing 1 leg to qualify. He went 2-0 down,
100.
and then he found that leg with a ton plus checkout of 106. And when he hit that leg, he was a relieved man. But he did go on to lose that match by 4 legs to 1, meaning that he only came through to the finals by 1 solitary leg. It was the tail of the tape for both Group A and Group C. 1 leg separating.
98.
A person coming through and a person being eliminated. If Burton had won that final match of Group C by 4 legs to 0, Warburton wouldn't be here. You'd be looking at Stephen Burton right now. But 2 games Warburton
140.
has. This one and Game 5 against Owen. If he picks up 2 wins, he will top Group 1 and play in the first semi-final against the runner-up in Group 2.
85. Mike, you require 101.
He has been a genius on double 16 this week. He'll be hoping to leave that, but not on this occasion.
$61.
He's had a couple of
62. Martin, you require
things happen this week
152.
that have really confused him. He's had a couple of miscalculations. Martin knows what he needs here. It's double 16.
Game shot
It's
on the
huge.
first leg. Martin Adams.
Now, the miscalculation from Warburton doesn't mean anything now, because Wolfie knows he's at the brink, and when he's at the brink, he can find things like this. They are not isolated incidents.
Game on.
That break of throw could be huge. And Warburton is still thinking about why he left 39. He obviously thought he had
60.
79 remaining, when in fact he had 78 remaining.
$100.
Oh no, actually I got it wrong there. I've been drinking from the Jose de Sousa calculator cup. In fact, I'm still thinking about it. So maybe Mike is too. Got to look forward.
55.
Don't look back. Warburton's played more games this week than anybody who was involved tonight. He's had 20 matches. He's won 12 of them
100.
with 8 losses. 60% win ratio. And very much like Adams, coming into tonight, his best average of the week was a losing average. 104.19.
140.
That he registered against Stephen Burton in match 1 of Group C. But he has been typically consistent throughout the week. A running average of over 90.
41.
High check out of 160. Doubles just under 40%. You just wonder, what does Warburton have to do to get to the next level? He's been playing, in my opinion, at the same level now for about 3 years.
60.
He will give you consistency personified. But maybe he just needs to raise his level by about 3%. And if he can do that, he could win a lot more.
60.
A little bit earlier, I was talking about Martin Adams' best finish of the week being 121. And I said that it's incredibly likely
140.
that he was going to better that tonight. I love it when he proves me right. He's bettered it by 31 points. And he's also
94.
looking to double his lead.
Martin, you
He's
require
been given
46.
6 visits to complete this leg. Double 16 once again. Magnetised to the wire. And Warburton's participation in tonight owes a debt of gratitude to a 106 checkout. How much you would love another one. Not going to get it. In this kind of company, you must be getting your legs in 6 legs or less.
58.
6 visits or less, not 6 legs.
Martin, you require 32.
So a hold in 7 visits
Game shot on the second
is
leg.
unlikely,
Martin Adams.
but that's exactly what we've just seen for Martin. 19 darts is good enough to double his lead, and now he really is the chief of this one. Warburton has got work to do.
Third leg, it's Mike to throw first. Game on.
If Adams can win this match by a large margin, that's better for his chances of winning this group.
60.
And it's worse for Mike, who, it has to be said, has made the finals on a Saturday night quite a few times before. But he has never done well on a Saturday night. He's walked away from Saturday night disappointed every single time. He wants that to change. At this point, I just want to send a few congratulations out to Josh Rock
60.
of Northern Ireland and to Kevin Dutz of the Netherlands, who won on the development tour today. Incredible action from the players under the age of 25. Amazing standard, where we've seen wins for Bradley Brooks, Keane Barry,
60.
Kevin Dutz and Josh Rock over the last couple of days. Many congratulations to all of those young men. Big futures in the game. Someone else who's had a good couple of days is Nathan Gervin, who we saw last week, of
85.
course. Young talent from Scotland. After this game, we will get
82.
Gary Robson against Paul Hogan. 2 former quarter-finalists at the Lakeside. It's a big game for Paul Hogan in the same manner that this is for Wolfie.
60.
When you lose your first game in this format, it puts you under immense pressure. Well, Martin was thinking switch after the second dart.
85.
He didn't have to there. Whenever you've got 259, you're thinking, get at least 99. At least I am.
180.
Mike had very different thoughts there. That's raised his average by some distance. From 236 to 56 in one visit.
85.
Can he get himself on the
Mike
board?
require 56.
In the same sort of vein that Darryl Pilgrim did in the last match when he was 2-0 down. The third leg changed everything.
Game shot
And
the
Warburton
third
gets
leg.
his first
Mike
leg.
Warburton.
So even with all of his experience, he would still say that he needs that grounding first double of the night to make himself feel better.
Fourth leg, it's Martin to throw first. Game on.
And make no mistake, that does make him feel better. Because now he feels like he's got himself into tonight. He's now competitive. But he needs to find a break against the Cambridgeshire legend. Otherwise, he's going to go into his second match needing a very heavy win.
100.
Just having a chat with some of the guys at the Sporty Stuff TV trophy, the Sporty Stuff studio earlier. I'm talking about the TV trophy that was won by Richie Burnett last year. I was talking about that earlier. I've got that TV trophy on the brain. Talking to the people in the studio earlier on tonight about some of the tips for the night. I was talking about this game, and I
60.
foresaw that this one would have a minimum of 6 legs in it. Earlier in the week when they played, it was a 4-0 victory for Martin, but their second meeting on Wednesday was 7 legs. And when I see these two guys
30.
play against each other, I always think it's going to be close. I always feel the pace of this game suits both players because it's quite deliberate. It's not massively quick.
100.
They can take their time. There's time to breathe. With some of the players that we've seen this week and throughout the last couple of years, you can find yourself getting dizzy because they're so fast.
140.
Martin will get a look at the 1-1-3 for a 3-1 lead. And if that's the case, Warburton will need 3 straight to win this
100.
match. A very tough ask.
Martin, you require 130.
But Adams is there for the take, and he's only averaging 88. But it's not about what he's done so far. It's about what he does next. And what he's done just there is bank another ton plus checkout in this match. That is his second. A little bit easier than the last one he found. But a 3-1 lead. Trying to reverse his fortunes from his first game. He's doing a very fine job. 60% on the doubles in this match. And he's only affording Warburton minimal efforts at the outer ring. He's only had 2 shots at a double in the whole contest. There is a scenario that I'm sure our statisticians are dreading.
100.
If Adams wins this game by 4 legs to 1, and then Warburton beats Owen by 4 legs to 1, we will have 3 players on the
60.
same points, the same leg difference, the same amount of legs won. And guess how we will have to separate them? Averages. And if that does happen, guess who's shining right now?
140.
Robert Owen. Because he averaged 106.59 in that first game. And that will play if Adams wins this leg.
83.
But only if Robert Owen gets just the 1 leg in his final game. We will stay on top of that and let you know if that is coming into the question.
100.
It may well do, because Adams has got 161 to win this contest in 5 legs. He's going to have to go for it.
100.
But
Martin,
Warby's got every right to feel that that should have been a leave of 118. Can he find a big 2 treble 20 out of his own to keep himself in this?
Mike, you require 158.
Possible. Double 19.
Gains
wow!
flag.
What a
Warburton.
shot from Warburton. We're seeing some biggies tonight. What a saver that is. He stops Adams from getting a look at 61.
Sixth leg.
And
It's
that
Martin to
finish
throw first.
has been
Game
seen
on.
3 times this week. Once from Robert Owen, once from Painter, and now one from Mike Warburton. What a way to save the match.
100.
So that scenario of all players having a 4-1 victory in this group, that's gone. Now leg difference plays.
60.
Now it's very much in the corner of Robert Owen, even though if he wins his next match against Warburton, he's through just on the points. And then it comes down to who wins this game.
100.
The mind of a dart player sometimes is quite cavernous. There's a lot of things happening there. But Adams is thinking, just give me a shot at that 61.
140.
And when he was denied it, he's probably thinking, ooh, so that's what it's like, is it? That's the kind of game we're going to play. But those shots hurt.
180.
There's only one way you can bounce back. Just try and win the next leg. Adams's average has gone up to 96.5 now with this excellent scoring performance in leg number 6.
100. Martin, you require 121.
He has a history of going for these, even when he doesn't have to. He's looking at the bullseye for the win.
96.
And that would have been his 3rd ton plus checkout of this match. And a total of 4 in 6 legs.
100. Martin, you require 25.
One match dart missed at the bull. He didn't need to go that route, so he now gets just 2 at the outer ring.
Game,
Only
shots,
needs the
and
1
match.
and wins
Martin
by 4
Adams.
legs to 2, so it will go down to the last match. It's not going to be a shootout for the top position between Warburton and Owen. Owen is going to have to do something in that match now, because Adams, with a 95.2 average and 57% on the doubles, he has to wait to see what happens. He actually wants Owen to beat Warburton now, and if that happens, it will be Owen and Adams through to the semi-finals. We're going to go back to Group 2 next, and the next match we have is Paul Hogan against Gary Robson. That's coming up after the break. everybody, and welcome back to our Saturday night coverage of the Online Darts Live League Week 3 finals. And we will now see Gary Robson starting his campaign in the finals up against Paul Hogan. Hogan started with a defeat to Darryl Pilgrim by 4-2. So
First
Hogan
leg,
knows
it's
if he
Gary to throw
loses, he's
first.
gone.
Game on.
Same position as we saw Martin Adams in, but now there are many permutations in relation to Group 1.
35.
We will cross that bridge when we come to it, because there are 5 different scenarios for who will come through Group 1.
60.
It could well be the same for this group, but only if Hogan wins. If indeed Robson does win this match, Hogan will be eliminated, and then the Pilgrim-Robson match will be an eliminator
99.
to see who wins the group and who is second. That will stipulate which
100.
semi-final they will go into. But what getting to the semi-finals tonight does is it gives you 2 chances
85.
to get into Champions Week. If you lose your first chance, then you're in a playoff with the other loser in the semi-finals to try and come back for the March Phase 1 finals. 180s weren't a problem in the first game for Paul Hogan.
96.
He managed to get a couple of those.
All you require,
Pilgrim didn't need any. Good start here from Hogan against the darts, and he will have a look at 64, possibly for a 14 or 15 dart break.
45. All you require, 64.
That works. 88. Doesn't like the lie. If I were him, I'd go from the right-hand side like he is.
Game shot on the first leg. Paul Hogan.
Really good shot, because there is a risk sometimes when you get too aggressive. You might just over-pitch it north and bust the whole score.
Second
He didn't
leg,
want
it's
to do
Paul
that.
to throw first. 85.
Breaking the bank. Looking to get himself to 2-0 once again. And hopefully with a very different result against the
100.
man from the northeast of England, who has played 18 games this week. 11 wins with 7 defeats. And a win percentage of 61%.
140.
But judging by what we saw from Gary in the later part of 2021 here, he has played better this week than he did in his
60.
campaigns last year, raising his win percentage from around about 45% to over 60%.
60.
He's had his best average in an individual game this week. He's had a better running average. He's had a higher finish in there as well. And his doubles have been better.
100.
All the departments have been improving, which, for his chances in the tournaments that he's got coming up,
44.
is a good sign. He's not qualified for the WDF World Championship, a place where he's had many, many appearances. In fact, he's the second on the all-time
96.
list of appearances at the Lakeside, behind Martin Adams. He's extremely proud of that record.
84. Gary
His biggest
require
finish of the week is
145.
145. He's not going to get a second one.
97.
But if Hogan
All you
takes
require,
this
88.
6-visit leg with 88, Robson's in a spot of bother. Bullseye.
63.
There's the let-off.
Gary, you require 48.
First shot at a double. For tonight is a double 16.
Game shot on the second.
And it's a nice
leg.
shot as well.
Gary Robson.
Breaking straight back in 18 darts. It's a bit of a reprieve, really, when it comes to the standard of play that we have seen from some others tonight. But he'll take it.
Third leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
I guarantee that when you
42.
look at players over the course of the last 20 years, nobody throws a dart like Gary Robson. It's a very individual style. I've got to say, I'm
100.
very pleased that I was selected to commentate this week. It's been really nice to spend a bit of time with Gary this week, just catching up on things up in the northeast. Talking about Newcastle United getting a draw at West Ham today.
41.
Great result for the Toon. I'm not entirely sure how West Brom got on today, because I know that Paul Hogan is a West Brom fan.
140.
I'm pretty sure that tonight anybody who is a Liverpool fan watching the Online Darts Live League is very happy indeed.
100.
Especially after that incredible result for Tottenham at the Etihad a little bit earlier on today.
121.
Hogan's turned on the scoring once again. And he's going to have 6 darts
140.
from
Ball you
140,
require,
even though Gary
140.
finds his first 140 of the match with that previous visit.
41.
That one didn't work. Whenever you've got 140 and you leave 99, you think, that was a real miss.
43.
Unfortunately for
Ball
Gary,
you require,
he doesn't
99.
find much more. For another breaker throw in this match. Third consecutive?
67.
Nope. That one was a good inch left.
Gary, you require 135.
60 for Bull.
47.
Just seems like
Ball
his
you
darts
require,
are
32.
dipping at the end when they reach the board.
Game shot.
And
on
he
the
hasn't
third
been
leg.
given a
Paul
lifeline
Hogan.
after leg 3. Hogan is lucky in the fact that Robson didn't really scare the 135, but after that third consecutive break, Hogan's now trying to get a 3-1 lead.
Fourth leg, it's Paul to throw first. Game on.
Let's see what happens over the course of the next 3 legs before we start talking about Group 2 permutations. Because one thing that could well get a bit of
140.
attention tonight is the Online Darts Live League Abacus.
$140.
One of these days I'm going to get one of them made, and it's going to be one of my props on my commentary desk here. And all you're going to hear in the background is the
100.
click-clack of Nico's abacus. And don't you worry, it will be black and yellow. It's all about the branding.
59.
I might have to get some Nico pictures on it, just like Scott Williams' socks.
95.
If we do brand those little counting implements, does that mean we've got to get some abaci? Is that the plural for abacus? I'll have to get onto my mate
83.
Kirk Bevins. He's a bit of a countdown wizard. He knows a word or two. Now Hogan left 166, a bogey number,
134.
but he has done the perfect job. Robson in trouble.
96. Paul, you require
Double
32.
16 was good to him last time. He got it on the 3rd dart. Wants the same again.
No score.
No joy.
Gary, you require
So 19s are calling Gary.
123.
Not going to get a shot at the bull. If he had found that 54, we wouldn't have
55.
seen the bullseye because he'd covered it with his flight.
Paul, you require 32.
Got to find it this time.
Game
And
shot
he
on the
does
fourth
find it
leg.
this time.
Paul Hogan.
17 dart, hold of throw now. And if Paul Hogan does find the next leg, he'll be in a pretty good position ahead of the Darryl Pilgrim match in match 6.
Fifth leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on. $100.
We still have that scenario as well, like we had in Group 1, where Pilgrim has won 4-2 in his first match. Hogan could win this 4-2. And then Robbo could beat Pilgrim 4-2, and they'd all be on the same points, the same leg difference, and the same legs won. In that situation, we'd go to the averages.
100.
But like I said in the last leg, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But we do need those separators.
100.
I think to a lot of people it is kind of unfair to be separating people on averages, but in this format is the right thing to do.
140.
It's very cutthroat on finals night on Saturday. It's that way for a reason, for excitement, for urgency. The players don't get the same amount of
81.
games that they had earlier in the week.
Gary, you require 161.
They've got to hit the ground running. Fancy it?
136.
We are seeing players going for the bullseye and big finishes when they don't necessarily need to. They saw a dart slipping out of the hand
57.
of Hogan. He's using a very old
Gary,
barrel.
require 25.
Won't have a great deal of grip on it. Double 8.
Game
And
shot on the
Robbo
fifth
is now
leg. Gary
3-2
Robson.
down, so he still has the possibility of winning this match. But if Hogan does win this next leg, that abacus moment could be coming.
Sixth leg, it's Paul to throw first.
I've had a message tonight from my good old friend Robert Thornton.
60.
He's been watching the coverage. He's probably on the practice board tonight, getting ready for Monday and his journey to the live league. He'll be here on
60.
Tuesday morning with Osborne, with Gilliland, with Dennant, with Collins and Ashton, as Lisa will make her live league debut.
180.
That is the 4th maximum of the night for Hogan. 2 in his first match, 2 here.
140.
Robbo's on his tail.
$81.
Robson finished in 3rd position in Group B, the group that Paul Hogan won.
97.
And 3rd position has been the story of Gary's week, because in Group A he was 3rd after a really good Wednesday
60.
where he was the best player of the day. The story of his week has been questionable day, really good day. Questionable day, really good day.
59.
He'll be hoping that pattern does
Paul,
not
you require
continue.
120.
Is it a match dart in leg 6? No. Not yet anyway.
82. Gary, you require 145.
He'd say his biggest finish of the week was 145. Another attempt at it fails. What Gary would give
100.
for 3rd place again
Paul,
tonight.
You require 38. Game,
We'll have to wait and see,
and the match.
because
Paul
Hogan has reversed things from the previous match. It's 4-2 to him this time, with an 88.84 average and just under 31% on the checkouts. Ultimately in this game, Gary just didn't give himself enough shots at the outer ring. He was better than Paul in that department, but didn't get enough chances. So he will face Darryl Pilgrim in match 6 to see how this group materialises. It could come down to averages. As far as the next one's concerned, it's an all-Welsh affair, and we have plenty of scenarios in this. So I'm off to go and do my homework before we come back after the break. Welcome back to the Online Darts Live League, and it is not only tungsten time, it is abacus time. So, 2 matches where there are many possibilities. Let's get straight into match 5 with this all-Welsh affair. It's pretty simple. If you are a Martin Adams fan, or indeed Martin Adams himself, you want a Robert Owen win here. There's only one other scenario where Martin Adams will make the semi-finals, and that is a Mike Warburton 4-0 victory. It's all very complicated. So what we'll do, just to try and make it a bit easier for you to understand, it's easy for me, because it's right in front of me in black and white. But if you're not logging legs
First
and
leg,
logging averages and things like that,
Game on.
the way that I am, I'll keep you up to date. But this is the crux of it. Robert Owen wins this match. He will go through first in Group 1.
43.
And Martin Adams will go through second. Then there are 4 different scenarios after that. But we will cross those bridges as and when they're applicable.
96.
These two players came through Group A earlier in the week. Owen was second. Warburton was 4th.
60.
So neither player has won a group this week. You sense that one of them's about to, though.
60.
There's only one scenario where Robert Owen does not go through himself. And that's if
100.
he loses to 0 in this match. Every other scenario of the 5 is good for him. He would go through either first or second. So the moment Robert gets a leg, he's safe.
97.
Now, where have we heard that before? That's right. Yesterday morning. Going into
138.
Friday lunchtime, when Warburton needed one leg against Stephen Burton to get his passage into tonight's play.
140. Robert, you require 160.
We have seen this check out by a couple of players this week who are involved tonight. One of them is Warburton.
60.
We've seen so much in the way of high finishing this week, but we haven't had anything above 161. Old school. Might look at 14 tops here. Clear bed.
68.
Good line, just over pitched it.
Robert, you require 100.
For a 6-visit hold. Does he go tops, tops? No.
80.
It was a good choice in the end, but he just didn't execute
Mike,
the double.
You require 40. Game shot.
Warburton gets the first leg, and it is a breaker throw as well. So, Robert Owen hasn't got that leg yet to guarantee his passage into the semis. We go into another scenario now.
Second leg, it's Mike to throw first. Game on.
If Mike was to win by 4-0, Robert's out. Mike would qualify
41.
first in the group. Martin would be second. I know there are plenty of Martin Adams fans watching tonight.
96.
And the ideal result for you guys is Robert Owen to win. If that happens, Martin will be second in the group.
180.
And he'll be involved in the second semi-final, if that happens. But Warburton is warming up.
60.
First 180 just hit in the last visit, and his average has climbed to 98.45. Now, Robert Owen has had a little bit of a break since his first game, where he averaged 106.59. Not only a personal best on this hockey, but the best of the week of any player. And that was 60 on the floor. That's the danger with the way his darts stack up. He can disrupt them now and again, quite violently. He only got 40 points for that.
$94.
Roberts worked so hard this week to make his way to this stage. He's been involved in a shootout last night with Scott Williams. He had to win that match to get through. And he did so by 4 legs to 1. It was a great victory. Now, is he going to go 18 bull here or gamble on Owen missing 167? Oh, it's double 7. He's backing himself. And I love that.
My Warburton.
He gave himself a challenge. He didn't want to give Robert Owen a shot at 167. He understands that he's had some big finishes this week in big moments. And he closed him out.
It's Robert to throw first. Game on.
That's just very smart play.
$60.
Owen's in a bit of bother. Still just needing the one leg. He can't lose to nil.
60.
That's what my mystic online darts live league abacus is telling me. But if he does know that he only needs one leg, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't, can you imagine the pressure of just needing one leg in a match to get yourself through to the semi-finals?
60.
The thought process is very different. When you're in a game, like earlier in the week, let's say his first game of the week, he's just trying to get the win. He wants to win by whatever score it is. Here, the pressure is very different. Every leg has massive pressure on it. You just want to get that one leg.
$140.
Now, if he does get the leg here
161.
in the next 3 to 6 darts, or possibly more, all of a sudden, Martin Adams wants Owen to win all 4.
137.
Because if he doesn't, Adams is gone.
$85.
Doesn't like that last dart.
Robert, you require 24.
But this is to qualify for the semi-finals.
Game shot on the
He's
third
through.
leg.
So he's booked
Owen.
his ticket, and he is the first person to go through. So congratulations to Robert Owen, who has done it on a Saturday night before. He might be about to do it again.
Fourth leg, it's Mike to
Now
throw
it's
first.
a question of which position Robert will be in and who will join him.
100.
If you are tuning into Sporty Stuff TV tonight and wish to get in touch at Darts Live League, please feel free to let us know where you're watching from and who you're cheering on tonight. Who's your favourites?
96.
I'll read out some of your tweets a little bit later on. But for now, my smart screen in front of me is firmly fixed
60.
on what could possibly happen to these players. I'm not deviating away from that at all. This is edgy stuff. And one thing we know about Mike is that he knows he has to win this match.
99.
That's one thing you do know when you lose your first game. Well, he averaged 89.23 with 2/3 of his doubles successful, but it wasn't enough. With Adams taking
60.
the 4-2 victory with a 95.2 average. The finishing in that game from both players was exceptional. A 152 from Adams, a 158 from Warburton to save the match. Ultimately, he couldn't save the game. Well, there was also a 113 in there for Wolfie.
$125.
What you got here
Might you require
players
106.
outside of the PDC Tour, probably the two best Welsh players not to have tour cards.
98.
He's left a puncture wound in that
But
60.
you
He's just
require
plugged it.
116.
57's covered. Gave it a really good try to find it.
54.
Just had too much dart in the way.
Might you require
For 3-1. 4-4 still. Big dart. 3-1 up.
Warburton.
And he's getting close. If he wins the match, he's going to be in. But who's he going to be joined by?
Fifth leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
Well, we know it'll be Robert Owen if Mike wins. And now we have to start talking about positions.
100.
Warburton wins by 4 legs to 1. Warburton first. Owen second. Warburton wins by 4 legs to 2. It's Robert first. Mike second. Same scenario if it's 4-3 to Warburton in this match. It will be Robert winning the group on legs 1. It's
100.
looking pretty dire for Martin Adams at the minute. He has one scenario left. And that is for Owen to win
60.
the next 3 straight. Knowing Martin as I do, he will take it on the chin and move on to his next challenge.
100.
But this has been one of the tightest groups I can remember on a Saturday night.
$100.
Mike's back in that same window as yesterday where he needs 1 leg to get through. His reaction
60.
to getting that 106 checkout against Stephen Burton, that's going to live in my memory for a while. It told me that he knew the scenario before he went out onto the oche. And some players want to know these situations, but others just want to be ignorant. Go up there completely blind and they just want to try and win every leg anyway, like they usually do. This 104 checkout is for a break of throw for the win and to win this group and to eliminate Martin Adams. Double 16.
72.
Not yet. That was very close.
Robert, you require 82.
This is to save Martin's skin. Tops.
62.
And Warburton gets 3
Mike, you
to
require
top this group
32.
to eliminate a huge threat.
Game,
And he has
shots,
taken it
and
out.
the match.
4 legs to 1
Warburton.
means that Warburton wins Group 1. Robert Owen got the 1 leg he required, and you see the scoreline. It just goes to show if Robert did not take that leg, he would have been out himself. So Group 1 is done. Warburton wins it. Owen is through. So they are going to be in the semi-finals. The abacus is staying where it is because we're going to need it for Group 2 as well. So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, it will be the climax of Group 2 with Pilgrim and Robson. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Online Darts Live League. In a night where you've got 4 English players and 2 Welsh players, the 2 Welsh players have found their way to the semi-finals already. So 3 players in Group 2 that are English will now fight it out to see who can make it to the last 4. One of them can't even play in this game, so it's over to Robson and Pilgrim to see what the fate is of Paul Hogan and themselves. Many a scenario we need to discuss. Even the averages may come into play. Because if Gary Robson wins by 4 legs to 2 in this match, we will decide who plays in the semi-finals based on averages tonight. That has only ever happened once before in Live League history.
140.
Back in October, Ryan Finesse, Stephen Burton and Colin Osborne were all tied on points, leg difference and legs
60.
won, and their averages separated them. The person eliminated on that occasion was Colin Osborne.
51.
Darryl won his first game against Paul Hogan by 4 legs to 2. And then Hogan won by 4 legs to 2.
140.
So if Pilgrim wins here, he knows he's through as the group winner and would take on Robert Owen in the semi-finals.
59.
And a Darryl win would carry Paul Hogan through as well. So we know where Paul Hogan's loyalties lie in this one.
43.
But very much like Martin Adams in the previous scenario in Group 1, he does have a banker or 2 on the other side of the coin. Let's cross that bridge a little bit later. Let's see how the first couple of legs play out. Let's let a couple of scenarios fall by the wayside.
$140. Darryl, you require 155.
That's some big finishes tonight. Biggest 158 from Warburton in his first game against Wolfie.
65. Gary, you require 118.
60 for double 19. Possible.
80.
Nudges that wire ever so slightly.
Darryl, you require 90.
That would have been an ideal break in leg 1. 85 left with 2. Double 14. Would have been a brilliant recovery.
Gary, you require 38.
Straight for it. He's not splitting it.
Game shot on the
why
first
would you?
leg. Gary
No
Robson.
hesitation with a 16-dart break in the first leg of the contest. And Gary Robson is looking very good when the pressure is on this week.
Second leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
The pressure was firmly on yesterday evening when I came out and said, I think he needs to win all 4 games on Friday night to get to the finals.
140.
What did he go and do? He won all 4 games. And that's why he's here. When there was pressure on him to try and make Group B in Group 8 earlier in the week, he won 4 games from 5 on Wednesday. Now the pressure's on again. And he's performing again.
140. $81.
There is a bit of a strange scenario in this game. And there's one result that Gary doesn't really want, aside from Darryl beating him.
100.
He doesn't want to beat Darryl by 4 legs to 3, because if he does, he's out. That's the complexity of what we're doing here. The leg difference is firmly in play. If he's going to beat Pilgrim, he wants to do it by 2 legs or better.
Gary, you require 121.
Okay, he's just going to set it up.
89.
I like that play a lot. Didn't even think about the 51 for the bull. We saw a little bit earlier people going for the bull when they didn't need to.
$60. Gary, you require
This is the ideal
32.
start that Gary craved.
$16.
That third dart is a bit of a mystery. He actually got further
Darryl,
away
you
from the
require
double eight.
127.
Earlier on, Darryl came off the canvas, unlike Amir Khan, who has been dispatched by
87.
Kell Brook this evening in a very big
Gary, you
fight.
require 16.
Robson's looking for a very heavy blow here in leg 2.
8.
Oh no. This leg
Darryl, you require
could be
40.
gifted to his opponent. He can barely take his eyes away from the carpet. He is so disappointed that he's given his opponent this shot.
Game
And it's a
on the
shot that he
second
has
leg.
taken. That is
Darryl
a big
Pilgrim.
steal. We just don't know at this stage just how important that leg could be. It could be the difference between elimination and success.
Third leg, it's Darryl to throw first. Game on.
If Gary wants to top the group, to have a crack at Robert Owen in the semi-finals, the second semi-final for that matter, he must win by
96.
4 legs to 1. Boy, was that a big, big let-off for Darryl.
68.
Darryl doesn't even need to win this game. He's just got to get 3 legs.
$58.
I've been watching Darryl Pilgrim play for the last 2 or 3 years. That beard has got longer and longer.
140.
And I don't know him that well. But if he shaved his beard off and took his glasses off, I wouldn't recognise him.
$140.
It's a very 2022 look, isn't it? Big beard, tidy hair, very hipstery. I can't imagine Gary Robson with a beard.
100.
I don't think he's ever had one, actually. I've known Gary a quarter of a century. $79 scored. Leaves 128.
99.
So we'll have a look at 108. Last time Gary was here on a
60.
Saturday night, he did not
Darryl
make the
require
semi-finals.
108.
Things are getting pretty precarious here. What he could do with
56.
is a big haymaker of a finish here.
Gary, you require 133.
And this is tricky. Now it's impossible.
97.
He needs a miss from Pilgrim badly.
Darryl, you require 52.
But if this goes, Pilgrim just needs one more leg after this.
Game shot on the
And
third
that is the
leg.
scenario.
Darryl Pilgrim.
He had the let-off in leg number 2, but in leg 3, he was in the commanding position. So he's 2-1 up. And Robbo, if he wants to take us to averages, needs to win the next 3.
Fourth leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on. $60.
That's the only thing he's got left. Because Gary hasn't won this match by 4-0 or 4-1,
96.
he can't go through automatically on points and leg difference. He has to take us to averages now, otherwise he's out.
180.
That'll help his average. Before this game began, Gary's average was less than the other 2. His first game, he averaged 83.25.
92.
Darryl, 87 dead. And Hogan, in his 2 matches, 88.38. He's currently sitting pretty
39.
But Robbo's average in this game is 89.9. I'm not sure that's enough. Things are getting pretty dire. One Lakeside legend has been eliminated
99.
tonight. We're getting pretty close to another one being shown the door. After 3 legs of this contest, the averages are as follows. Hogan, 88.38.
58.
Darryl, 86.01. Gary, gaining, 85.3. But that's only applicable if Robson wins this leg and the following 2.
96. Gary, you require 164.
He could really do with this. Because if Pilgrim hits that 118,
59.
Robson's out.
Darryl, you require 118.
60. Would have left double 19.
58. Gary, you require 105.
For the first leg of 3 that he needs. Treble 18 required. Double 16.
73.
How many times this week has he wired that double 16?
Darryl, you require 60.
So many times. Double top. To progress to the semi-finals for the first time here at the Live League.
Game shot on the 4th leg.
And in doing so,
Darryl
he has
Pilgrim.
eliminated Gary Robson because Gary now cannot get the legs difference and the points he requires to get into the top 2 in Group 2.
5th leg, it's Darryl to throw first. Game on.
So the abacus goes away. And we're down to 2 scenarios.
93.
One where Darryl wins the match and gets 4 points from Group 2. Or Robson wins the next 3
58.
legs. And Darryl goes into first position based on leg difference. Either way,
43.
Darryl Pilgrim has won this group. So he wins Group 2 and will take on Robert Owen in the second semi-final. Paul Hogan is going to take on Mike Warburton in the first semi-final. And that will take place about 10 minutes after the conclusion of this match.
$140.
If they did know the scenarios off the top of their head, you could say that Pilgrim has got a little bit of freedom for the rest of this match now.
98.
It's going to make him feel good that he's going to win this group. But that's only half the job done. One more win in the semi-finals will guarantee Champions Week
81.
and a chance at that bonus tonight of £2,000. And let's not forget as well, if you get to Champions Week, you have the chance of getting that £6,000 at the end of the rainbow.
75.
And if you can get a 9
Darryl
darter in
require
Champions Week, there's a £500 bonus on that as well. 6 18s would have left 36.
108.
Well, that one kept Charlie
Gary,
Costerfield on his
require
toes.
145.
Robbo's biggest finish of the week was 145.
60.
And the last time he saw his score
Darryl, you require 36.
before he's eliminated could well be that 145 down to 85.
Game,
And that is a win for Pilgrim by 4 legs to 1. So he wins Group 2 and Paul Hogan will join him in the second position. Unfortunately for Gary, it just hasn't worked out tonight. You can see from the checkouts that maybe it was all won and lost when he missed all those shots at double 8 earlier in the match. Hopefully we'll see Gary once again and of course Martin Adams sometime in the future. But for now, it's Pilgrim who wins Group 2. We're going to take about a 10-minute break now from our live coverage as we get ready for the semi-finals. But when we come back, Paul Hogan will be playing in that semi against Mike Warburton. We'll be back soon. Hello and welcome back to our live coverage here at the Online Darts Live League. Semi-finals time coming up, and it is, of course, not a knockout situation for the possibility of Champions Week, but it is a knockout situation to see whether you can get your hands on the bonus tonight. Now that you're in the semi-finals, you have 2 bites of the cherry to see whether you can get in the top 3, which would be an invite back after the last qualifying week next week and into Champions Week, where the biggest prize is on offer.
First game on.
So, win this semi-final and you will have a crack at the bonus tonight of £2,000, and you will be guaranteed Champions Week.
60.
If Warburton wins this match, it will be his best performance on a Saturday night so far in this room. The one thing that has been missing over the last year
180.
has been a phase win. First, you need to get to Champions Week. And Hogan has started very
60.
well. Hogan had to wait after he'd played his first 2 matches
85.
to see whether he'd done enough to get through to this stage. He had. And by virtue of that Darryl Pilgrim 4-1 win against Gary Robson,
121.
he's here in second position from Group 2. Hence why he's taking on the Group 1 winner. A group where everybody got 2 points.
140.
But Warburton's leg difference was 1 leg better than Robert Owen's. And he gets another look
60.
at Paul Hogan,
Paul, you
someone who
require
has shared
96.
many rooms with over the last few years.
60.
Does like to leave double 18, does Paul? He's had many good times on that double, including a 9-darter in his England shirt a few seasons ago.
100.
Well, he
Paul,
left
you
it,
require
and it is for a
36.
first leg break.
Game shot on the first leg.
He
Paul
continues to
Hogan.
play like that, and Mike Warburton's going to have issues. He might have to find his A+ level, but Hogan just can't wait to get back to the hockey, as you can see at the end of that clip.
Second leg, it's Paul to throw first.
He does like to play a fairly swift game. And in a similar vein
45.
to Warburton, Paul Hogan hasn't really performed that great on a Saturday night here. He was a big favourite coming into a Saturday night finals about a year ago,
100.
and it just didn't happen for him. And in the words of Gary Robson in the last 10 minutes, he said it just didn't happen for him tonight. That's the right attitude. You just got to take it on the chin and then move on to the next challenge. But these two are fully immersed in this challenge.
140.
We are into Sunday morning now. Typical late live league darts. I hope you're enjoying it, wherever you're tuning in from. Whether you've been
100.
spending a bit of time with the family, and maybe still spending time with the family, keeping it late watching the darts. If that's the case, fair play to you.
140.
You might well be a big Paul Hogan fan. You might be a Mike Warburton super fan. But Hogan leaving 36 after 12 in 2 consecutive legs is a huge warning
90.
sign to Warburton.
Paul, you require 36.
Still double 18.
Game shot on the second
And
leg.
this is a very
Paul
good
Hogan.
performance. I think Warburton's going to have to find something rather special if Hogan keeps playing like this. 13 darter, then a 14 darter.
Third leg, it's Mike to throw first. Game on.
Now we know that Warburton can find that elite level of the 100-teens averages. And if Hogan does maintain this
43.
standard, he's going to need it. Hogan is burning the midnight oil right
100.
now. That used to be the nickname of Joe Mernon, one of the players on the tour from Bolton. Used to call him Midnight Mernon because he was apparently unbeatable very late at night.
140.
Or so I was told. But you will see one of Bolton's finest next week in Lisa Ashton.
60.
She no longer owns a tour card, and she had a very short stint at the World Seniors recently, but I think getting some legs and some matches under her belt next week will do her the world of good.
190.
And that 180 will do Mike the world of good. A bit of a jumpy action at the end of that visit, but it was good.
138.
Mike's been flip-flopping between 2 different coloured flights this week. He seems to have
60.
pitched his tent on the darker ones over the last couple of days, which have served him well. Had some white ones in earlier in the week.
83. Mike, you
My advice to
require
him is to
78.
take this out. The way that Hogan's playing, he'll probably hit that 118. Tops it is for a 15 darter.
Game shot on the third leg.
That's a
Mike
picture
Warburton.
postcard 78 checkout with 3 darts. Lovely single. Lovely rhythm and technique. And look at that.
Fourth leg, it's
Photograph
Paul to throw
worthy
first.
tops. Doubling in this match so far. Visit perfect. That's all he can
82.
do. We can say that Warburton is 100% on doubles. We can say that Paul Hogan is 67% on doubles. That's very impressive. But they've needed
140.
1 visit every time to kill a leg. That's all you can do. It brings to mind my favourite saying of the year
100.
that I'm communicating to a lot of coaching clients of mine and to a lot of young players who are obsessed with averages. What's the difference between a 15 darter and an 18 darter?
140.
There's a difference of a visit. What's the difference between a 16 darter and an 18 darter? Nothing, because they both win in 6 visits. Just because the average is
100.
different, it means nothing. All you're looking for is the leg win. So being visit perfect on doubles is all you can hope for.
100.
This is high quality. And we did get 2 averages over 100 in one match earlier on with Wolfie and Owen.
99.
Put in that performance of the
Mike
week.
require 121.
We'll see more of Robert up against Darryl Pilgrim after this. But first we have to ascertain
97.
whether Paul Hogan is 3-1 up or it's 2-2.
Paul, you require 120.
It's not going to be 2-2 by the looks of it. I mentioned Mike is visit perfect, as is Paul.
44.
Well, if that's going to continue, this is going.
Mike required 24.
Whether it's 12s, 6s or 3s.
Shot on the 4th leg.
Door number 1,
Warburton.
please. And he's not only visit perfect, he is dart perfect on the doubles. And that 2-0 lead for Paul Hogan is wiped out.
5th leg, it's Mike to throw first. Game on.
Not only that, but he's got his darts back. And by virtue of winning group number 1, he was gifted the darts in this semi-final.
100.
Finishing second means you have to break your opponent a minimum of 1 time to get the victory in the semis.
180.
He's leading the 180 stats now with his second of the contest, Hogan. In the 3rd and 4th place playoff and tonight's final, there is a bullseye shoot-off in the practice room to determine who will throw first.
140.
Got to give full credit
60.
to Crocodile Dundee. Because as soon as somebody taps him on the shoulder, he starts hitting that treble 20 like it's going out of fashion again. Average is climbing.
95.
He's been playing at this level for a very long time. In fact, he made his Lakeside debut back in 1995. That was 27 years ago.
100.
That was the year that Peter Wright made his Lakeside debut.
86.
Double 16. If you're not sure, ask the ref. And we remain visit perfect on the doubles in this match. Really, really good finishing. But not only that in that leg, world-class scoring from Hogan for a 3-2 advantage.
6th leg, it's Paul to throw first. Game on.
The stats are big. The doubles are incredible. Warburton's thinking, why does everybody turn up like this
100.
against me on Saturday night? It does happen a lot. Mike's playing at a good level. 32 per dart, old school. Because that's how they used to measure your averages. It used to be a 1 dart average, not a 3 dart average. But he's just a shade under 95 in new money.
122.
But the crux of it is, Paul Hogan's had 5 shots at a double in this match. Mike's only had 2. That's where it's been won and lost so far.
100.
These guys have guaranteed themselves at least £500 for getting to the semi-finals.
59.
The winner of this game will have at least double that. There's a lot of money in this game.
60.
No matter what level you play at these days, whether it's youth level, amateur level, professional level. So much to be won if you've got the talent.
100.
Hogan is going to be on Shanghai 20s to guarantee himself a shot at the big prize tonight. And he's never won on a Saturday night.
60.
In fact, he's not even
All you
been in a
require,
final
120.
on a Saturday night before. / Sunday morning. But tops will take him there.
100.
And for the first time in this match, when someone's had a double in a visit, it's not been plugged. Warburton may have to rely on the
81.
third place playoff now to get into
All you
Champions
require,
Week.
20.
Because Hogan's at double 10
Game,
and he
shots,
finds his
and
way
the
to the
match.
final
Paul
for the very
Hogan.
first time on a Sunday morning here at the Online Darts Live League with a really good performance. That is a personal best on this hockey, and he's been playing here for over a year. Incredible stuff at the right time. Hogan will have a shot at the big prize tonight, and he's going to be in Champions Week from week 3. Well done, Paul. You've still got one more game a little bit later on. But Robert Owen has been a very good player all week. Will he find his way to Champions Week in the next game against Darryl Pilgrim? That's coming right up. Hello and welcome back. It's time to find out who is going to join Paul Hogan in tonight's final. And who is going to get their place in Champions Week, of course, as well, through this second semi-final. Darryl Pilgrim will now take on Robert Owen. I don't think there was any question in Robert's mind at any point that he was going to not be in this semi-final, but he got here by a pretty small margin in the end. As for Darryl Pilgrim, he's the only person tonight who is undefeated. 2 games from 2 in his Group 2 campaign. Robert Owen has already tasted defeat to Mike Warburton, who has just been eliminated from the possibility of winning tonight's action completely.
First leg, it's Darryl to throw first. Game on.
But if Pilgrim does find 2 more victories, it will be £2,000 winging its way to his bank account. And an invitation to Champions Week. But Robert Owen has done this before. He's been to the Saturday night action before. He has won here. He knows how to get it done.
25.
You just wonder, with that really big average in game number 1 tonight, did he peak too soon? Because what we've seen from a couple of
40.
other parties since then is improvement, and maybe tonight's title could be going elsewhere. We've just seen an average of 102.88 from Paul Hogan. His new personal best average on this hockey for a match. And not only that, he was 57% on doubles as well. A very complete performance.
99.
Mike Warburton has been taken out of the possibility of winning tonight after having 100% on doubles in his previous match. He now
60.
has 1 match left, and it will be against the loser of this game in a playoff for the Champions Week spot.
134.
And Pilgrim has started pretty well here, looking to do what his beloved Crystal Palace could not do against Chelsea yesterday.
140.
Darryl will be hoping
94.
he's not going to be denied in the 90th minute. In darting terms, that's in the 7th leg. I think it was the 90th minute of that game yesterday where Hakim Ziyech has got himself a winner for
54.
Chelsea. So the only way to cheer himself up is to win tonight and to forget about the Crystal Palace disappointment.
180.
First 180 of the game comes from Owen.
Darryl, you require 40.
And it is to put himself on double 10. A double that Darryl now has.
35.
Now, did that 180 change things?
Robert, you require 20.
Could be a decent guide, that.
Game shot on the first leg.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Owen.
What an assist. You didn't see much of the dart until it was in the double 10, because I'd be really interested to see where that would have gone if the other dart wasn't there.
Second leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
You could say that Roberts had a few kind assists throughout the course of the week on doubles like double top and double 10 just there.
60.
But it's all part and parcel of his darting product. He knows how his darts behave. And if I had a little piece of advice about that for
80.
young players and aspiring players, get somebody you know to film the way your darts hit the board and how they react to other darts in the board. You
41.
must understand how your darts behave. And make no bones about it, Robert Owen knows everything about the way his darts react.
60.
Couple of wild darts so far in leg 2 for Darryl. Trying to split these two to get that 60.
60.
Splits them, but under pitches it.
100.
Darryl, Robert, and now Paul Hogan looking to join the winner's circle for 2022 with Josh Payne and Mike Gillett. The south of England has dominated the Live League this year so far. Josh Payne from Kent, Mike Gillett from Hampshire, and of course, Paul is from Berkshire and the Hampshire border.
100.
Very, very close. He has played for both counties. He's tonight going to be Welsh.
Darryl, you require 161.
Pilgrim from Croydon, which is Surrey, and that is firmly in the south of England. So that trend
78
could continue.
Robert, you require 100.
Double top.
Game shot.
And Robert Owen is picking this apart. When he's getting to the finish, he's taking it immediately. That's a great 100 kill.
Third leg, it's Darryl to
Only
throw
missed
first.
one dart at a double in this match so far. They've both had the same amount of shots at double. And yet, Robert Owen is 2-0 up. It's a question of clinicism.
$140.
I've always thought that Robert Owen would be a really good soft tip player, because even with the way he delivers his darts, the computerized boards would make his darts sit really straight. I wonder if he's ever tried that brand of darts. South Wales is very much steel tip country.
90.
And when he comes back to the board, he should be using 19s first, because in every likelihood, Pilgrim is going to be on a finish after these three darts. And he is going to be.
100.
19s first here is the play. But he is not as tuned in to some of the new school counting.
96.
19, 25, and a treble 20 leaves 167. Single 12 might be the play here.
98.
Just wanted to stay away from that flight. Imagine if he'd collided inside that flight. He could have hit a 138 to bust the score. Maybe that's just me being a bit too defensive.
133. Darryl, you require
Yet
32.
again, Robert Owen puts the pressure on when Pilgrim is on a double. And the pressure is told once again. That's
Robert,
now 6 darts at a double in the match without any success. And Owen is looking at double 16. And his doubling is impeccable. It's actually gone up by a few percent now to 75%. 3 shots hit from 4 attempts, and he's only 1 leg away from the final.
Fourth leg, it's Robert to throw first.
You can see the two demeanours here. Chest up, ready for leg 4. Robert Owen full of beans. Pilgrim chatting away to himself as if to say,
140.
Why haven't I hit a double? I've gifted him these opportunities and he's taken every one. But that's the name of the game. If you miss, they will hit.
140.
And sometimes you have to recite that to yourself. The Oki is a lonely place. The only person who can help you is the referee.
140.
Sometimes with what you've scored and what you've got left. That's all the help you get. Everything else is up to you. But recite this to yourself. If he misses, or if they miss,
100.
I will hit. Those 3 words, if you recite them to yourself, it's a very big, positive mental attitude. I will hit. And what Owen is hitting in this match is now a 3-figure average. He is extremely close to a 4-0 victory because Pilgrim has not left a finish. And judging by these
Robert, you
semi-final
require 81.
performances that we've had from Owen and Hogan, we could be in for one heck of a final tonight. He's not there yet. But he could be now. I think he's just checking what he's got left. He doesn't want to go for the wrong thing. He's just had a bit of a brain freeze, I think. But he has got double 12.
69.
He will return for double 6. He did the right thing there, because if you do get a mind blank for a second and you can't figure it out, use the referee to calm the situation down,
56.
take a breath, realise what you've got.
Robert, you
Don't
require
go for the wrong
12.
thing. And that was the right thing.
And the match.
Brilliant
Robert
performance
Owen.
from Robert Owen. 4-0 as he takes out Darryl Pilgrim, the first person to defeat him tonight. And that is a very impressive performance. Just shy of a 97 average and 57% on the doubles, which is exactly what we saw from Paul Hogan in the previous match. Really good stuff that's going to be in that final. A little bit later on between Owen and Hogan. One of those guys is going to have week 3 in the bag. But after the next 10 minutes, we'll have a little bit of footage for you with the Sporty Stuff TV programming. And when we come back after that 10-minute break, it will be the third place playoff between Mike Warburton and Pilgrim. Whoever wins it will be in Champions Week. Hello all and welcome back to the Online Darts Live League. Thank you for staying with us at this very late or indeed early hour, depending on how you look at it. But now we look at the Champions Week playoff to see who's going to join the finalists in Champions Week in a couple of weeks' time. Not only the place in Champions Week up for grabs here, but it is a £250 game as well, because whoever finishes fourth will walk away with £500 tonight. Third place, £750, as well as that ticket to the possibility of 6,000 more.
First leg, it's Mike to throw first. Game on.
Judging by the way they played in their semi-finals, you'd probably have to have Mike Warburton as a marginal favourite. He averaged about 5 more than Darryl, and when he got a shot at a double, he didn't miss it.
140.
But before we get into this one, we are tantalised by the prospect of that final between Paul Hogan and Robert Owen, because they both played exceptionally
45.
in their semi-finals. One of them's going to cash out really well this morning.
100.
The one thing I know about Mike Warburton is how determined he is. It's all on the line here. All of the work he's done this week in getting through
60.
Group A in 4th spot, which put him into Group C with Darryl Pilgrim. Warburton finished 2nd in that group behind Darryl Pilgrim. But now it all boils down to one best of 7 match. You do not want to join this club, the 4th place club, which has 2 members
81.
in 2022, Richard
Mike
North
require
and Matthew Edgar.
121.
You want to join the 3rd place club with Andy Jenkins and Thibaut Tricol.
57.
Good start here from Mike. 2 dart range after 12.
96.
That's solid.
Mike requires 64.
Another single 16. We'll leave double 16.
Game shot on the
And
first
he hasn't
leg.
missed a dart
Mike
at a double
Warburton.
for a while, that's for sure. He's now bridging 2 different games with perfect shots on the outer ring. 1-0 to Mike Warburton.
Second leg, it's Darryl to throw first.
Whereas Darryl Pilgrim did
96.
win Group 2 tonight with a 4-2 victory over Paul Hogan and a 4-1 victory against eliminated Gary Robson.
100.
He has seemed to struggle on his doubles since then. 6 darts he had at double in that semi. Not able to find any of them, which gave Robert Owen way too many
100.
chances. That has to stop now, otherwise we won't see Darryl Pilgrim for a while. Just sense an aura of belief around the Welshman at the minute. He's got a glittering CV when it comes to playing here. He's had some great performances.
84.
Been involved in some amazing matches. But he hasn't had that glittering week yet where he has dominated. And I know for a fact that that grinds on him a little bit.
41.
We talk about other players and how they have won on a Saturday night before. They've won affairs like Chaz Barstow, like Robert Thornton, like Richie Burnett.
93.
The fact of the matter is, until you win a phase here, the culmination of a 5-week process, then there is always something left to do on the to-do list.
Darryl, you require 128.
Doesn't have to go 18s first here now, with the miss from Warby in his previous visit.
58.
Hasn't got rid of too much in the way of points there, so Mike Warburton will be thinking, sticking a 140 here and the pressure will be on, because we don't have to think back too far, where Robert Owen was putting in a 180, a 2 treble visit to get himself just ahead of Pilgrim and putting big pressure on his outs. This would settle him down. Double 16.
54.
If Warburton takes the 100,
Mike, you require
could be a sense
100.
of deja vu for Pilgrim, who saw another Welshman take this 100 checkout in 2 in the last match.
80.
Oh, for a second I thought that was in.
Darryl, you require 16.
Decided to go for the open bed to the right of the dart. Well, that bed doesn't look open. Open target.
Game shot on the
And
second
the double
leg.
is found. That'll
Darryl
be nothing
Pilgrim.
shy of a big sigh of relief for Darryl Pilgrim, because the 2 darts at double 8 that preceded that double 4 weren't good at all.
Third leg, it's Mike to throw first.
But those things can be forgotten when you do find the 3rd dart. You have to dig deep sometimes.
100.
That's the beauty of having 3 darts for a leg. As long as you don't bust your score on the first 2 darts, you've still got a shot left. Or indeed leave yourself on an odd number, which does happen on occasion.
140.
Loses the line.
24.
And you do not want to be doing that at this stage, Mike. If you are feeling a bit tired right now, and indeed, if you ever feel a bit tired during a darts match, 2 of the things that I would emphasize: taking deep breaths, get a bit of oxygen in your bloodstream, which might energize you a little bit. A little sip of water, just to give your mind a bit more clarity.
60.
These guys have played each other twice this week, both in Group C.
84.
Thursday, Warburton won by 4 legs to 1. And he had a 103.54 average. That was his best performance of the week, in a winning sense,
60.
because he had an average better than that against Stephen Burton, but lost. But the following day, it was a 7-leg thriller, which was won by Pilgrim. This will be the decider in their head-to-head this week. And so far, you can sense the tension. There's a bit of nerves about this. They really want to come back for Champions Week.
81.
Let's face it, who would want to pass up a chance of going for 6 grand?
142.
It's almost becoming the norm now for treble 17 to be the effort on 142. It used to be the hipster way of doing things when I turned pro. It's one of the reasons I started to do it. I always like to go the different ways for finishes, as long as there's a bit of logic in there, which there is for 142 on treble 17 twice in tops. Just above that flight, and then once again.
40.
Now if Warburton takes this,
Mike,
it will be his turn for a sigh of relief,
132.
because he's not been in this leg at all. Now, does he go for another bullseye? I don't know if this is the right play, you know. But what a shot. Oh boy. Double 16.
116.
Those two bullseyes were so pinpoint.
Darryl, you require 40.
It almost deserved to go, that shot. That second dart is one of the best I've seen all week.
Game shot on the
But he
third
has lost the leg ultimately.
Darryl
He
Pilgrim.
paid the price for only giving himself one shot at a double in 7 visits to the board. You can't do that at this level.
Fourth leg, it's Darryl to throw first. Game on.
So Pilgrim is halfway to Champions Week.
96.
Just going to go through the names once again for the people who are already there. Josh Payne, first person through
100.
as a winner. Chaz Barstow, one of our stalwarts of the Live League, played all the way through last year, and he was a phase winner in 2021. He's looking for his second phase win.
90.
And he would be the first person to have 2 phase wins, of course. Last year it was Richie Burnett,
60.
Chaz Barstow, Robert Thornton, Matt Campbell. Great winners. Andy Jenkins is already in Champions Week as well, and he didn't win a phase last
99.
year. And all 3 of the qualifiers from week 2 didn't either. So the odds are telling us right now that maybe
96.
phase 1 in 2022 will be won by someone who has not won a phase before. But then again, week 4 is going to give you a former phase winner in Robert Thornton. He beat Connor Scott in the final of that phase in what was a great week. And he comes into next week as the World Seniors Champion.
Darryl, you require 91.
He will be joined by Colin Osborne, Chris Gilliland, Matt Dennant, Lisa Ashton and Rob Collins in Group A come Tuesday morning at 9:30. Pilgrim is looking at the bull.
51.
If you're going to miss the bull, you'd rather hit a 10 than a 25.
Mike, you require 105.
You might have to hit this, Mike. He's gone for tops.
85.
Oh, I thought that was in. Couldn't see because of the flight.
Darryl, you require 40.
But I'm amazed he didn't go for the 13 for double 16 option. He's been so good at double 16 this week.
Game
And
shot
Pilgrim
on the
is
fourth
within
leg.
one
Darryl Pilgrim.
of the promised land, which is Champions Week. So 3-1 from here. Is it going to be another bad Sunday morning for Mike Warburton?
Fifth leg, it's Mike to throw
Is he going to
first.
fall short once again? And selfishly, I don't want him to fall short. I've
60.
gotten to know him really well the last couple of years. And I know how much he wants this. But this is an incredibly selfish game. There are no points for second place
93.
in these eliminators. There are no second chances. And there is that determined, upturned smile.
140.
That is going to be evident to the very end. He's not going to give up. Based on what we saw from Pilgrim yesterday,
100.
which at times was flawless shooting, he's not played that well tonight. First average of the night, 87. Then an 85.9. Then another 87. He's played much better than that this week. He's had ton plus averages. Personal best of the week of 103.8.
58.
He's also had losing ton plus averages this week. The best performance of the week before Robert Owen's
98.
game against Martin Adams earlier was Diogo Portela of Brazil beating Pilgrim with an average in excess of 105. And that game, Pilgrim averaged 103.
17.
Is he tiring
Mike, you require
at
120.
the wrong time? Double top for the first leg in 3 that he needs.
Game shot on the fifth
1
leg.
down and
Mike
2 to go.
Warburton.
That's a really tidy 120 finish. It's not the first 120 finish he's had this week as well.
Sixth leg. It's
He will
Darryl to
believe that he
throw
can do
first.
this. But first he's got to break Pilgrim to get a chance at serving it out.
60.
If you weren't with us earlier and you don't know who's coming in Group B and C next week, B, which is live on Sporty Stuff TV from 10 PM on Thursday and Friday night. That will involve the bottom 3 players
60.
from Group A from Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Jamie Kelling, Josh Richardson and Lee Evans will join the party.
180.
Talk about joining the party. That's the first maximum of this match. And then the Group C party will involve Jamie Durrant, Kurt Parry
100.
and Jim McEwen. In fact, did I say the bottom 3 players from Group A in Group B next week? That's wrong. It's spots 2 and 3 from Group A,
81.
which will join Kelling, Richardson and Evans. Then the bottom 3 from Group A will be joined by Jamie Durrant, Kurt Parry and Jim McEwen. Because Group C is a 6-player group. Group B is a 5-player group.
60.
And then at this time next week, we will know what Champions Week will look like.
100.
Great last start from Pilgrim, who puts himself on 80 points to punch his ticket. And it will be a return ticket.
41.
Warburton thinks this is done. He might be right.
Darryl, you require 80.
And he will be devastated if he falls up 1 short once again. Double 16.
48.
He will be back in this match. Got to stick in a big visit and hope that Pilgrim has trouble on 32.
100.
But even Mike
Darryl,
knows
you require
that
32.
he needed to leave that one on 2 dart range. Pilgrim for Champions Week. Double 8.
28.
It's not over yet.
Mike, you require 140.
This will be some save. Earlier on tonight, he took out a 158 to save his skin. Unfortunately, he can't find the 260s he needed on this occasion.
60. Darryl, you require 4.
Double 2. Double 1.
No score.
I've lost count of how many darts he's had for the match now.
Mike, you require
2 at double
80.
16. I make that 8 darts. Could we go to the last leg?
60.
Oh, what a chance. He didn't think he was going to get this opportunity.
Darryl, you require
If he
4.
loses the match in this sense now, it'll feel worse than if Pilgrim had taken double 2 earlier. I'll make this his 10th match dart.
Game,
And he's
shots,
found it
and the match.
with
Darryl
a dart
Pilgrim.
that just pierces the 2 that were blocking the double 2. But Pilgrim has ambled over the line, and he's done it with a 72 average. Unbelievable stuff. Really hard-fought stuff from the man who wears those Crystal Palace colours. But he will be back for Champions Week, and unfortunately Mike Warburton has to settle for 4th position. So commiserations to Mike, congratulations to Darryl, but now it's all about the final. Who's going to win week 3? Is it going to be Paul Hogan or Robert Owen? Welcome back, Live League fans, and it's time for our Week 3 final to see who is going to be crowned the champion alongside Josh Payne and Mike Gillett from the last couple of weeks. So it is going to be either Robert Owen or Paul Hogan down to the hockey for today's final. It promises well. Let's face it, those semi-final performances from both of these guys were excellent. The third place playoff was a bit of a damp squib. I think both players would admit that. But it was Darryl Pilgrim who has booked his ticket to Champions Week. These two are already there.
First leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
So there's that sorted already. Now it's down to this match, best of 7 legs for £1,000. So you've already banked £1,000.
100.
How about doubling it? This is a rematch from Group B this week. And they shared a win each. Both games that they played on Thursday and Friday were 4 legs to 3. The game on Friday was much
59.
better than the game on Thursday. So if it continues in that trend, this one should be really good.
85.
But there is sometimes the likelihood that when the Champions Week ticket has been taken, that the finals can be a bit arduous.
60.
Things don't come as naturally when a little bit of that adrenaline has passed. You've got to keep your spirit up.
45.
And want that extra £1,000. Well, Robert Owen is going to play twice today, because he's not only playing in this final now. It is Sunday. It's 1:20 in the morning.
58.
He's got a qualifier today for the UK Open as well.
$100.
First mission is this. And because of the way he's played this week, I think that qualifier could be in reach.
41.
He's elevated his level this week at the Live League. He's put in the best
100.
individual performance of the week. He's had the biggest finish of the week twice. Is he going to be the player of the week?
41. Will we require 126.
The thing about Paul Hogan, as he looks to tidy up the 126 to leave a double, is that he won Group B.
56.
He's got a first next to his
Robert,
name this week
require
already.
142.
Robert hasn't. 2 treble 19s would have left double 14.
58. Paul, we require 70.
This is for a first leg break in 21 darts.
38.
These two look tired.
Robert, you require 84.
It's been a long week for Robert Owen. He's been playing 5 straight days. Paul's only in his 3rd. Oh, he will hate that dot so much. Single 14 left the bull.
68.
Treble 14 left double 11. Didn't get
32.
close to either.
No score.
Got to get something from somewhere. And the only thing Robert is getting right now is
Robert,
fortunate.
You require 16.
He can't believe he's getting this shot.
Game shot on the first
Well, I'm going to make him feel a little bit
Owen.
better right now, because he does feel a tiny bit better after that double 8 has been hit. In the World Championship final between Peter Wright and Michael Smith, they had a leg very similar to that in the first set.
Second leg, it's Paul to throw first. Game on.
It got pretty good after that. So maybe this final will follow suit.
60.
Now, I'm not going to blow my own trumpet. But a little bit earlier on, when I was talking to the guys in the studio at Sporty Stuff TV,
43.
I said that Robert Owen would win tonight. I hope that's not some sort of jinx on Robert.
93.
I just saw him as the kind of player that would get better day on day, and he has been getting to the building first. He's been putting in what we call the Mervyn King preparation.
81.
Getting here early, doing the hours. If he comes up with the win, it'll all have been worth it.
135. $60.
I don't know if switching was the play there, because 2 darts above the 60. He's very unlikely to get himself in the 60 bed, but maybe this leg is just falling apart for Robert, with Paul opening up a 237-point advantage.
100. Paul, you require 80.
Should be 1-1. Depends on how many darts it takes him to get to the double. Single 14 maybe? He's got 54. So 18 for double, because he does like it in that corner.
$75.
Good switch to the bullseye.
Paul, you require 36.
Don't expect he's coming back.
Game shot on the second leg.
More often than not, when
Hogan.
Paul Hogan has got double 18, that's exactly what happens. He keeps leaving it, and he keeps taking it.
Third leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
It's been a very up and down week for Paul Hogan. Very up on Thursday. A little bit down yesterday, but did just
60.
enough. Started with a 4-2 loss tonight against Darryl Pilgrim. And then since then, an improved performance in beating
100.
Gary Robson. And then in those semi-finals, he was really good against Warburton. 102.88 is
100.
his new Live League personal best. And the funny thing about that personal best is, his previous one was set in the first phase of last year, a year ago. It stood for a long time, even though he'd come back plenty of times. It's taken him a year to break it.
45.
When he comes back for Champions Week, he'll have a crack at bettering that once again, and I get the feeling he might have to at some point.
95.
When you leave 166, you usually think they've made a mathematical error, but after hitting the treble 5, he couldn't leave a finish.
180.
But Owen could. With the first 180 of the game.
$44. Robert, you require
He has wrestled
116.
the darts from Hogan after being drastically behind in the middle portion of the leg. And it's double 18 this time for Robert.
98. Paul, you require 122.
4 18s in bull. 6 for double 7. Wasn't comfortable.
108.
He was also asking the referee if he'd hit
Robert, you
54
require
with
80.
the second dart, whilst aiming for double 7.
Game shot on the third leg.
I think
Robert
ultimately
Owen.
in leg 3, Paul Hogan did the right thing there in stepping back, because he wasn't sure if the second dart was in, but ultimately missing double 7 has cost him.
Fourth leg, it's Paul to throw first. Game on.
And then there's full credit to Robert Owen for taking double 9. If you did have a little gamble this evening, we hope you did so in a responsible manner. Remember, it's for people over the age of 18 only.
81.
And begambleaware.org for more information. If you did have a little flutter on Robert Owen, for example, to win tonight, that was 9-2.
140.
He was equal third favourite. Favourite for tonight was Martin Adams. He did not even make the semi-finals. He didn't get through Group 1.
80.
The person who's scoring better in this match is, without a doubt, Paul Hogan. That's reflected in his average, which is 12 better than Robert, but Paul's a leg behind.
140. Paul, we require 158.
This leg is not
44.
at all safe. One thing Robert's been doing really well this week is approaching well. And he's going to do it once again. How many times has he hit a maximum from this spot?
180.
He's
Paul,
done that more than anybody else this week. And because Paul Hogan's not getting a shot
98.
at a double in that visit, Owen
Robert, you require 45.
is in dreamland if he finds double 16.
Game shot on the
I wasn't sure that that dart was comfortable in his hand before he threw it, but it was effective, and it's now 3-1 to the Welshman, and he's only one leg away from the big bonus.
Fifth leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
He doesn't care about his average, doesn't care about how many doubles he's hit to this point. It's just a question of one more double and one more leg in the bank to once again win in a weekly finals. He's done it
55.
before. He's been to Champions Week before. And in Champions Week, he is going to be a threat.
100.
He's reaching that confidence level that he once had 4 years ago when he made the semi-finals of the UK Open.
60.
And now that he's not working and completely focusing on his darts with his support network back in Bridgend, what's to say that he's not going to have an incredible season ahead of him? And he's having his best leg of the final in potentially the last leg.
$60.
He'd take a ton here.
Robert,
Paul Hogan's race could be run. Instead of Crocodile Dundee, it could be Crocodile Dun on double 10.
120.
He wanted to go out with a bang. He calls himself
85.
Stack Attack.
Robert, you
He has attacked
20.
this fifth leg.
Game
And he's gone and won the bonus of £2,000. And he's won week 3. It wasn't a classic final, but Stack Attack attacked at the right time. 84.39 the average. Hogan just hit the wall a little bit in that last game of week 3. But ultimately, I think Robert Owen, throughout the course of the week, was ready to sprint at the right time. And he did so in the final leg of the week. That was the final leg of the week. We've had a really good time of it here at the Online Darts Live League over the last 5 days. We're going to take a couple of days break. But when we come back on Tuesday, Chris Murphy will be sitting in this seat. And he will give you a plethora, a cacophony, a collection of brilliant legs in week 4 to complete what we want for Champions Week the week after that. Have a fantastic Sunday, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Online Darts Live League here on Sporty Stuff TV. I've been Paul the Asset Nicholson for the last 5 days. I will continue to be when we come back a little bit later in the year with myself. But for now, it's me signing out. Take care, everyone. Good night.